It's so simple.
We'll be passing the Save America Act.
Absolutely.
Why is that so important for this country?
It's so simple. To get on an airplane, you need voter ID. To buy a beer, you need voter ID. But to do the most important thing that we do as American citizens, exercising our right to vote, we let anybody vote without any confirmation they actually have the right to vote in our elections. Now, I think, Laura, that's actually a form of theft. Because let's say that you, an American citizen, show up and vote for a candidate, and then somebody else who has no right to vote shows up and votes for a totally different candidate. That person is stealing your vote away from you, stealing your sovereignty as an American citizen. It's very disgraceful. Now,
we'll be passing the Save America Act.
$10 million go missing. This is Milo. Pets are family. But every year, 10 million go missing. And the way we look for them hasn't changed in years. Until now. One post of a dog's photo in the Ring app starts outdoor cameras looking for a match. Search Party from Ring uses AI to help families find lost dogs. Since launch, more than a dog a day has been reunited with their family. Be a hero in your neighborhood with Search Party. Available to everyone for free right now. Join the neighborhood at Ring.
See, alright, so first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. We say double and say apostle and a great most on Aruba, our teachers, our apostle, the shoot, and we say salutations to the Akim, so they push you with no truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season or season. We say shalom. Once again, going into our video here and touching upon, the two videos that I just played. Right, and one goes into J.D. Vance talking about voter ID and talking about the Save American Act, right, which goes into a short summary on it. Is under any method of voter registration in a state, the state shall not accept and process an application to register to vote in an election for federal office unless the application presents documentary proof. Right? Documentary proof of United States citizenship with application. Right? So you talk about, so in this one clip he played, he says to get on an airplane, you need the voter ID. To buy a beer, you need voter ID. But to do the most important thing we do as an American citizen, exercising our right to vote, we let anybody vote without confirmation. And I think that is a form of theft. Now, you see, the way how they speak, we understand the scriptures called, the scriptures call them the forgers of lies, right? We know everything, the scriptures mention not to trust your enemy. Matter of fact, let me get it, right? Let me go to the book of Sirach, right? Right, Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. It say here, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. So all these talk that these Edomites are talking about voter ID, it go help with with who coming to vote and all this sort of stuff. Even with this particular video here that I showed with the Super Bowl.
But every year, 10 million go missing. And the way we look for them hasn't changed in years. Until now. One post of a dog's photo in the Ring app starts outdoor cameras looking for a match. Search Party from Ring uses AI to help families find.
So we're talking about searching for your dog, but we know knowing how wicked Esau is. We know that it's not really that. Because the scriptures mention it again, it said, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. They may be showing in this video to make it seem like, they're using the animals, because they understand that when it comes to like animals and so forth, people will have a softer heart towards it. They might feel a little more compassion, but really and truly it go deeper, right? It go deeper than just that. We know, if you go and look up, I believe it's 10 things showing what an authoritarian state is, and one of the things that will pop up is being underneath heavy surveillance, right? And this is, you're seeing where they're going on the part of the MOTB, because they're talking about surveillance, tracking, right? You'll be able to find certain things. And now J.D. Vance is talking about what? Voter ID, right? And talking about the Save America Act. And when you look up that Save America Act, it mentions unless the applicant presents documentary proof of the United States citizenship with the application, and that proof will come in the form of what? They could use that to bring that word, the MOTB, right? To chip. And we know this is one of the things they've been doing. One of the guys, I remember doing a video about maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, talking Elon Musk, talking about the same thing, this voter ID. Now they're talking about, and it's a reason why is that the voter ID becomes such a popular topic to talk about, because they are using it for their benefit, right? And it's one of the things that, like, if it was some of the conversations that are actually happening in America, they are talking about the voter ID, which eventually your ID is going to be injected inside of you, right? Because that is a part that heading on to the MOTB, the mark of the beast, right? They have mentioned about Trump, Vance, Elon Musk is the more outright one, has been mentioned and talking about being underneath one thing, right? Musk has been talking about everyone needs to be chipped. You can go and look it up. Like, even when you read some of his statements on X, you would see these is one of the things he's talking about. Now, when you hear them talk, it sounds good, because, example, Elon Musk, when he mentions his Neuralink, he makes it seem like if it's such a beautiful thing to have, you would be able to if you're paralyzed, it go make you move certain things with your mind. If you have inner health problems, it will help you, and all these sort of things. And he's talking about bringing something for that voter ID, so it'll be easier to register people, easier to know who's American citizen, and so on, right? So you're seeing the part that they're heading on to. One of the things here, like our next thing here, Discord to globally require a biometric face scan or ID verification for full access next month to protect teen safety. So you see, when you're seeing all these apps, all these businesses, all these things, they go into what? They go into they're implementing certain things with ID. You see, you're already seeing the part they're going down. You see the step that they're heading to, right? And that is what they want to chip everyone. So it said, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. It said, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Yes, so that wickedness will always remain there. Even though he may seem, the way they talk, the way they say certain things, it seems like if they want to help. Matter of fact, let me go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 5. Let me start from verse 5. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. So yeah, so it say even if he do it good, right? They didn't actually mean to do that. He doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. And the last he will see why they actually wanted this. They was talking about this voter ID stuff. You will see why they was talking about a face scan and an ID verification for. And they're talking about teen safety. There ain't no teen safety, right? You all have what you stuff that is going on in the Congress, what you kind of people that are in charge of your state and so on. They're naming the files, right? They're naming the files. So it's nothing about that. But at the end, as the scriptures say, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. Right? It didn't say good. Right? It say his wickedness, right? Because the wicked could only do what? But wickedly, right? They can't expect good thing to come from a wicked person. That's what the scriptures say. What? Let me get it here. Right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 13, verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to evil. And I say, hey, can the wicked do good when they are accustomed doing wickedness? No. Right? That way it say, can the Ethiopian change his skin? No. Or the leopard his spots? No. Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to doing evil. So them that are accustomed to doing evil, they can't do good. You can't expect any good to come from them. Right? So when they're mentioning these things like voter ID and all this sort of stuff here, it's for a particular reason. And that is what the scripture say, at the last, he will declare his wickedness. Right? He would really show why he was these things he wanted these things to be implemented. You would see why he wanted this code and these apps to have this verification. Then you would see why there was putting this Super Bowl ad, right? Talking about surveilling your dogs and so on, but we know it's not for the dogs. We know the part that they set it on to, right? There was an article that actually stated America is becoming more authoritarian, right? Now when you go and look it up, it have a heavy thing there, but that is the part that headed on to, right? Or that the part is already in, right? We see in the fall of a kingdom. The signs, the cracks are there, right? So now going back to the book of before I go back to the book of Sirach, let's bring the book of Second Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We know why they are pushing these things. We know why they want these things to be implemented, right? And that scripture say, lest Satan should get an advantage, and it do what Satan get advantage over it, right? When you look up the word advantage, let me get it here quick. Advantage, right? Advantage. It's a advantage, a condition or circumstance that puts one in favorable or superior position, and you don't want Satan to get that advantage over you. That's what the scripture said to do what? To always be circumspect, to always take heed, because why? The days are evil, right? So you always have to be on the one to watch, right? You don't want Satan to get that condition, right? That puts him, as it says, that puts one in a favorable or superior position, right? You don't want to be making Satan get that advantage over here. That way it say what? We are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, we're not ignorant of it, right? We know why they're talking these things. We know why they want to implement these things. Because why? As scripture mentioned, we have shown whatever of prophecy, and the scriptures mention the things that they would do. That these prophecies that are played out, and one of the major prophecies is what? The MOTB, the mark of the beast, right? That is, as it mentioned, that you wouldn't be able to buy or sell unless you had this mark, right? Now they're talking about to vote. Now it have different things I was talking about. Is Trump, and I think the same J.D. Vance did mention that if people wanted to use, he would be giving us a certain amount of money, but they would have to take whatever it is. He did bring something along those lines, and I could be wrong with this I'm saying, but he was talking about these things, right? And knowing that the devil they are, hey, as it mentioned, to never trust your enemy, right? So let's go back to that. Let's go back to the book of Sirach, right? Chapter 12. And let's read from verse 12 now. It says here, set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Yeah, remember these words, right? It say, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him, in a sense, who will pity, right? Right? So you say, for a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to throw the entire pit. Yeah, same sounds good. Again, scripture say the words were smooth and butter, so something along this roughly paraphrasing, right? But scripture mentioned that they were covenant breakers, right? Mischief was underneath their tongue, right? So yeah, hey, the way they speak, the way they say certain things, it sounds good, but there's no good to come from the wicked, right? You say he would weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood, right? If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. So yeah, right? So we see in watch, this is 1, right? 2, 3, right? And there are many others. I believe I had some save here, right? Some save here. ICYMI, Apple buys Israeli startup. You see, whose tech analysis biometric, physiological signals, right? Including facial expressions via facial skin, micro movements enabling interpretation of whispers or silent mouthing, like 4, right? And I believe I have some other more that I had saved, right? So this is same thing. I'm gonna take off this, right? I was going into the doomsday clock. Let's do that video on that already. It says UK Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood 100 years ago, fingerprinting was decried as curtailing our civil liberties, but today we could not imagine policing without it. I have no doubt the same will prove true for facial recognition technology in the years to come, right? So you see what they're talking about, upgrading of that system, right? And we again leading to the part of what the MOTB, right? So with that, once again, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yoshai, Ba'Shem Kakadash. We say that once a person else agreements and rule, our teachers our person in truth, and we see salutations so the Akim to the push in truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season or the season. We say Shalom.